Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from podweather.com and Internet Partnership Radio with the podcast update on Hurricane Bertha. And this time yesterday, you can see at the beginning of this loop, Bertha was a very intense major hurricane. And the NHC, the National Hurricane Center, indicated that it was 115 miles an hour at 5 p.m., then at 11 it was 120 miles an hour, and they indicate that between that time, at about the first frame of this loop, it looked spectacular, and there was a chance right here, as you can see, that Bertha may have actually peaked out as, say, a 135 mile an hour Category 4 hurricane. So when they do the report on Bertha in the next upcoming months, we may see that it was actually a Cat 4. Regardless, it was a very powerful hurricane for July. And past July hurricanes that were majors include Bertha of 96, and 3 years ago this time, Hurricane Dennis made landfall in Cuba as a Category 4 hurricane. Well, here's the latest on Bertha, and boy has it weakened. It's now down to 85 miles an hour Category 1 hurricane, and within literally 2 days it went from about 998 millibars, then it dropped 50 millibars and became a strong hurricane, 948. Now it's back up to 980 millibars, so the pressure has been really rising and falling with this hurricane precipitously, and is currently at 22.7 north, 54.8 west, and as mentioned, those winds could be gusting to 105, so this is still a potent hurricane, but it's now moving northwest at 11 rather than that west-northwest, and there is a difference. You can see the track here is expected to remain a minimal hurricane as it moves northwest, and then by Thursday night, Friday morning, it should weaken to a tropical storm, but could stabilize after that, maybe even re-strengthen as conditions get a bit more favorable up here. But note that this is 5 days. This is all the movement we're expecting in 5 days. Typically, you'd think that in 3 days the thing would be way out of here, but steering currents with the hurricane may kind of collapse for a while and it may not move all that fast at all. Regardless, Bermuda, you're no longer in the cone, but you certainly could feel the impacts, at least from high swells as Hurricane Bertha passes near you. Now, taking a look at the latest infrared color loop of Bertha, note that it is bursting, but what you'll notice here at the end of the loop is as it bursts here towards the west, you'll see that. You'll see the bursting to the west. Note how all the flow is on the east side, and the west side's kind of flat here. It's getting undercut. It's getting sheared. It's in a less favorable environment, so it's trying to strengthen and fight against that, but conditions just aren't favorable. Bertha would love to become a major hurricane again like it was yesterday, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. You can see that even better. Note the plume of high cloud here pointing off to the north. That means that Bertha should generally head in that direction. Even better on the water vapor. See this little upper level feature here, and Bertha kind of getting steered on the east side of that, it looks like, over the next several days. Here are the model consensus generally off towards the northwest and the north. But again, we're talking 5 days here in this general region, so don't expect any quick movement from Bertha at all. Here's the latest wind shear profile, and as mentioned, it's getting undercut in this region here, and it's going to suffer for the next 24-48 hours. That could weaken it below hurricane strength. It may even be below hurricane strength as of now. And then as it gets towards Bermuda, conditions get a little bit more favorable. You can see here the lower wind shear, and it could actually re-strengthen with these warmer than average waters up here in this region of the western Atlantic. Here's upper level divergence right over the hurricane. Again, it's still a potent hurricane, gusting over 100 miles an hour, but it certainly is nothing like it was yesterday when it was upwards of 120 to 130 miles an hour. Now, the Madden Julian oscillation is a favorable phase that moves across the globe, and when it's green like this, this means favorable for tropical development, and this is right over the East Pac and the Atlantic. To give you a reference of some land masses here, if you can't see it, this is Africa, and this is Cuba, Florida, the East Coast, and the Yucatan here. And when you get these favorable phases, you can see an upswing in development. We saw Christina, Douglas, and Boris in the eastern Pacific, and then we saw a major hurricane Bertha in the Atlantic. And note how the western Pacific here in the brown has been pretty quiet. So this phase seems to be a good indicator of when things will get active or inactive. Now, looking off Africa, we had that huge wave leave this morning, and look, it's fizzled out. Hit the waters and fizzled. Certainly nothing like the wave that helped spawn Hurricane Bertha, for sure, but we'll keep an eye on it. Keep in mind the next name on our list is Cristobal, and we'll wait and see if we get our C-name storm in the next few weeks. Long-range models show we might have a quiet week to 2 weeks ahead. Let's hope. So that'll do it for the tropics. I'm Mike Naso from podweather.com. Stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.